Reconvene, Mr. Falcone?
Yes.
Mr. DeStefano is absent. Dr. Capello?
Yes.
Mr. Citrich?
Yes.
Ms. Goulan?
Yes.
Mr. Chaffee?
Yes.
Mr. Francis is absent. Ms. Polachena?
Yes.
Thank you. Can I please have a motion to approve the September minutes?
I'll move it.
I'll second.
And call the roll.
On the motion to approve the September executive session and regular meeting minutes, Mr. Falcone?
Yes.
Mr. DeStefano is absent. Dr. Capello?
Yes.
Mr. Citrich?
Yes.
Ms. Goulan?
Yes.
Mr. Chaffee?
Yes.
Mr. Francis is absent. Ms. Polachena?
Yes.
And Ms. Falcone Schubert.
Yes. Next, we'll move on to the superintendent and HIB report.
Good evening to everyone who is in attendance here with us this evening and also watching online this evening. A couple of things in my superintendent's report for this evening. Obviously, I'll go through our HIB report. I'll also make mention of our HIB self-assessment that we do on a yearly basis, and we'll talk a little bit about that as well. So for the month of October, we have 3 HIBs that were reported in the school district. 2 of those are confirmed HIBs. And for those of you who are in attendance and may not understand what that means, New Jersey has a law based on harassment, intimidation, and bullying. It addresses not just those individual characteristics, but it requires that there be an identifying component that is part of that behavior, meaning not did someone just call someone a name, but they called somebody her name or took an action based upon that person's physical appearance, their ethnicity, their gender, their sexual orientation, their body composition, their religious beliefs, something along those levels. So there needs to be what might be considered an aggravating factor that is part of it. If it is simply someone calling someone a name, it's a violation of the code of conduct, but it does not meet the statutory definition of a HIB. So in this case, this month, we had 2 that were classified as HIBs. One addressed body composition of students. One used inappropriate names with regard to race and ethnicity. And then one that was filed as a complaint that was not a HIB, but was a violation of the student code of conduct. So in each of those cases, building level administrators, guidance counselors, and parents and students are involved, having conferences, and then there is discipline, whether it's a HIB or a code of conduct. There are disciplinary consequences that are assigned to the students involved. Those consequences can range from detention to an out-of-school suspension, and it's different based on each of those cases. So for you as a board this evening, first review, there are 3 cases that we discussed in executive session for your approval. And then the HIB self-assessment, which we complete every year, is an opportunity for the individual schools to look back and reflect upon what they've done during the course of the year to try and address the climate in their schools, to address the educational components in their school, and their reporting progress. And it is just that, a self-assessment. So each of the schools are responsible for going back and looking at all of the educational programming that they've done with their students, the training that they've done with their staff, the procedures that they have in place, and the opportunities to involve staff in understanding and taking ownership for their behaviors as they move through the individual grade levels. Each of those programs looks a little bit different based on the grade levels and the age levels of the students that are involved. A perfect score on a self-assessment is 78 points. Historically, our schools have averaged in the 65 to 75 range. This year, Tulsa was at 67, high school was at 70, the Durban Avenue School was at 72, and the middle school was at 72 as well. What I can say to you is when these reports first came out, I've been in education for a little while. Sometimes when you give people a self-assessment and you say, hey, reflect how you did, right? Everybody gets a 4 out of 4, right? And I think for the first couple of years we saw that. And those school districts that were truly critical of themselves and looked at that information as an opportunity for growth said, wow, my score is a 65, and people from the public would come out and say, well, why are you a 65, but our neighboring school district is a 78? And so the state came back with some more definitive guidelines on how you should score yourself and how you keep track of your points. And we've seen over time that those scores are reflective of our community, they're reflective of our surrounding school districts. So that is on our agenda for approval this evening as well. And then let me see, I've got a number of students that will acknowledge in 8, but let me get with your permission.
Sure, motion.
Yeah, if I can get a
accept.
motion in a second. Jana, on the motion, do I have a second?
I said second.
Oh, you got the second, who had the motion?
I don't think anybody made the motion. Someone needs to make a motion.
Oh,
Dr.
sorry.
That's okay. Dr. Capella with the motion and Ms. Goulan with the second. Mr. Falcone?
Yes.
Mr. DeStefano is absent. Dr. Capello?
Yes.
Mr. Citrich?
Yes.
Ms. Goulan?
Yes.
Mr. Chaffee?
Yes.
Mr. Francis is absent. Ms. Polachena?
Yes.
And Ms. Falcone Schubert?
Yes.
All right. My favorite part of the agenda.
Yes, the good stuff.
Acknowledgements and correspondence. So we've got a number of students that have been selected for some awards, and I want to be able to recognize some of our students who I see in the audience tonight, and I will do my best to embarrass you. But most importantly, I am going to make you come up here. I am going to make you come up here with your parents if they're here tonight, because this is an opportunity to get that picture that, even though for you, the photo isn't that important, but as a dad, I know it's incredibly important to us so that we can make sure we recognize you. So the first one tonight is our College Board Recognition Program. The following students received awards from the College Board for Outstanding Academic Achievement. The National Hispanic Recognition Program, Emily Saito. Yeah, you want to take
Sure.
some photos?
Yep.
Right up here in front. I know Mom and Dad are back here. Absolutely. Now you guys got to get up here and get in this photo with us. I know, I know.
You want me to take it with your phone too? You're welcome.
And next to her, so you're not.
That's good. One more. Yeah, congratulating you.
And I got one more. You know, I'm trying to get my steps in today. All right. And for the National First Generation Recognition Program, I have Megan Hyzinski and Layla Gonzalez. We'll do Megan first. Come on up here, kiddo. You're good at directing. Where you
Dinner
want to
good?
put everybody.
What was it?
Dinner good?
Yes, it was actually. We had grandma's spaghetti and meatballs.
Oh, yeah. Great. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
He's not particular here this evening. Now, for our students and families who are here, you will not offend us in the least. If you decide to leave at any point during our meeting, please. I know you've got a lot of other things to do, and I know the girls have some studying and some projects to get working on. So please, at any time, feel free, okay? Thank you. Thank you, and congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you for everything you guys do.
Aw, thanks, Eric.
Thank you.
And then also included in our recognitions, I want to congratulate the following students who were chosen as Middle School Student of the Month for their outstanding performance in September. I know that the middle school administration has prepared certificates for those students, has already reached out and contacted those families. Grade 7 is Jacob Allen. Grade 6 is Bradley Bachelor, and I'm sorry, Bradley, if I butchered your last name. Grade 5 is Elijah Hamilton, and grade 4 is Finley Basin. So congratulations to those students for all of their hard work and their efforts in the month of September. And again, as I say, my favorite part of the meeting, my favorite part of what I get to do, right, is getting out into classrooms, is seeing our students, is having those conversations, and making sure that we talk about the great things that our students are doing on a regular basis and all of the efforts that they're putting in, and we want to be able to recognize them. And so with that, as part of my report this evening, talking about our students, I want to defer to our high school student representative from the board. And if you would, coming off of last week's football game and homecoming and our performances there, if you want to share a little bit about that and some of the great things that are going on at the high school, I would love it.
Thanks, Lily.
All right. So there's a lot that I'd like to mention, so I'll get through it quickly. We've had a very eventful month. So we'll start off with sports. The boys soccer team has qualified for the state tournament and will be competing in the first round on November 5th. Sorry.
Awesome.
The boys cross country team is gearing for state sectionals this Saturday. The Powder Puff game is going to be November 14th. Esports has 5 wins and 0 losses and is looking to qualify for the state tournament. The marching band has had a successful car wash and the mattress sale. On the topic of homecoming, the dance was very successful. We had about 400 students attend, and the homecoming king and queen are Leo Devaki, and queen was Chloe Norman Palmer. The haunted hallways this past weekend was a great success. It seemed everybody who went there had a great time. 25% of the eligible students took the PSATs this past week. The senior class had a very successful and fun puzzle tournament fundraiser, and their next one will be in April. 8 colleges have visited the high school and met with seniors, and there were 8 students who auditioned for the Sussex County Band. They were all accepted, and they have a concert on November 14th in Walk Hill Valley. And lastly, Mrs. Mortello has retired after 26 years in Hopatcong, and she had a clap in the high school on Friday.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lily. Appreciate it. So, as Lily outlined some of the tremendous things that have gone on at the high school, I want to thank our high school advisors. I want to thank our high school administration. I want to thank our PTO, our parent volunteers, our community volunteers who made donations for the homecoming dance. All of these things wouldn't be possible without all of the individuals that support our students, who support our programs. Attendance at the homecoming football game was fantastic. It was a great night, an opportunity for us to dedicate the football field, thanks to the donation of the Falcone family, and with a new scoreboard. And so there are a lot of great things happening in our community. We always don't get to see each of those things as they happen. Sometimes we see what impacts our individual kids or children in our neighborhood. There's a lot of great things going on. There's a lot of momentum. We spent a good part of our day today, faculty meetings this afternoon, talking about academic performance and student growth. And so we're looking at all of those things to continue to push our students in the right direction. And all of that starts with the efforts of our parents and our families at home. We are the benefactors of having an opportunity to spend a lot of time with your children and help them grow and succeed. So we value the partnership. As I talked about at back to school night, the importance of attendance, being in school, being here on time, taking advantage of the opportunities that are presented to you. I appreciate that partnership that we have struck, and that partnership will continue into the future. On November 5th, we have a referendum election that will be coming out. It is to the tune of $9.9 million, and it is for 4 items. It is for a new roof on Hopatcong High School, a new roof on Tulsa Trail Elementary School, and the replacement of the underground oil storage tanks at the middle school and at Durbin Avenue. And depending on the progress and the timing of New Jersey Natural Gas, whether those tanks will be removed and replaced with new gas tanks, new oil tanks, or whether our existing boilers will be converted over to burn natural gas. All of those things are time dependent. I have met with New Jersey Natural Gas. I understand their plan and their progression. Our underground oil tanks are very old. One of them at the high school leaked 3 years ago, and they're the same age. That's why we had to replace it. We are required by the DEP to inspect those tanks every 18 months instead of every 5 years, based on their age and their condition. And our insurance company has made it very clear that if we don't adhere to those inspection schedules, that if there is a leak, that our coverage will not handle spills. So we have to be mindful. We have to be understanding of the heating season and when things happen. But our plan, if everything goes according to plan, would be to convert those buildings to natural gas. And under the law, we have to remove the existing oil tanks. You can't leave oil tanks abandoned in the ground in New Jersey. I will have another community meeting this Wednesday in the high school auditorium at 6:30. Talk about the referendum one more time. Had an opportunity to be out at St. Jude's Parish Center to talk with Seniors Inc. and explain a little bit about the referendum. On our website is a link to all of the information and all of the official information from the school district. All right, as I've said before, as a public body, we can't politic one way or another. All I can do is share the facts with you. What will the referendum entail? What are the costs? This Board of Education passed a tax increase back in June of last year. That tax increase will pay for the bonds on this referendum if the referendum is passed. There will be no additional tax increase if the referendum passes. What is the benefit of there being a referendum? The benefit is that the state will pay 40% of the costs. If the referendum fails, the state will pay zero, and the taxpayers in Hopatcong will be responsible for paying the full cost, and it will take us 5 years to save up enough money just to do the high school roof. If the referendum passes and we go out to market and we sell the bonds, we can begin within a year to get those projects underway and stop spending money on year-over-year repairs for leaky roofs, damaged furniture and equipment, and we can move forward as we progress. So each of those things is important. On our website is the direct link to the referendum information. If you have questions, please feel free to email me. Come out to Wednesday night's presentation, get information for yourself, ask questions, and then we'll go from there. So with that, that concludes my report for this evening. I thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone from a PTO who would like to speak? No? Okay, great, I will. So for the PTSO, like everybody said, we had homecoming. It was amazing. The kids looked fabulous. The gym was transformed into a Hollywood movie set, all thanks to the creativity of the students and the donations from the parents. When I tell you that I couldn't put things fast enough on the Amazon cart on the Amazon wish list, they were like swept up and sent to the school to decorate. It was amazing. We had so many donations of food. The Grotto provided catering for us. The kids had an amazing time. A lot of the teachers and administrators were there, just said that it's such a great feeling to see all this camaraderie. It was so inclusive. Everyone was on the dance floor, including old ladies, 8th graders to 12th graders. It was just a really fun, nice event. And, you know, it's why we do what we do. I'm looking forward to hosting another one maybe in February. Our next PTO meeting is on the 13th of November, and our Tricky Tray is going to be on March 22nd. So start looking for those Black Friday sales if you want to make a basket to donate. And we also have some really other exciting news. The high school PTSO and the elementary PTO HEPTO are going to fund lamp post banners very similar to what you see around town with the veterans, but it's going to say Home of the Chiefs with our logo on it, and they're going to be purchased by the PTOs, and then the district will put them up around all of the schools. So to bring some more visibility and inclusivity, because we are all chiefs, right? We kind of just say that we're chiefs at the high school level, but we are all little chiefs, warriors, growing up to be big chiefs, and I think that having things that are aesthetically pleasing and inviting is just another way to kind of get the message out that we are on the move forward. So really excited about that. You'll be on the lookout for those. All right, with that said, public comments. Did anybody not get to sign in who wanted to speak? Okay, first we have Marilyn Durning. Hi.
My questions are about the bus route. So hopefully this is the right place for that. Wondering what process is used when making changes to bus routes, because they clearly changed this year.
So all of our bus routes are based on student enrollment. They're based on maximizing the number of students that we put on our individual buses. And then those routes are based on our start and end times for our individual schools. So we use what is called tiered busing. It's mandated by the state of New Jersey. When you have multiple schools, you need to utilize bus routes for multiple grade levels of schools. So that's how our transportation group sets out and lays out our bus routes. Understand that under state law, if you are an elementary student who lives within 2 miles of your school, the Board of Education is not required to provide transportation for you. If you are a secondary student who lives 2.5 miles from school, we are not required to provide transportation to you. So we have a number of what would be considered dangerous routes where there are no sidewalks, blind curves, where the Board of Education provides courtesy busing, where there might not be crossing guards or safe crossing passages, and each of those factors into our bus routes. But our routes do change on a probably every 2 or 3 year basis, depending on where the enrollment is in each of our neighborhoods.
Makes sense, thank you. When that happens, the roads that are going to be used, are they inspected or reviewed before choosing those routes to make sure that infrastructurally they're in place for buses?
So we have a number of different buses that we use. Some are 54 passenger buses, some are 39 passenger, and some are 16 passenger buses. So we try and size the appropriate vehicle based on how those buses can navigate the roads. Buses shouldn't be backing up on major roadways, but there are some roads that are difficult regardless of the type of vehicle that we use.
And the reason, my next question you answered, which was why were they changed this year? So I guess that makes sense. You have kids that are just now going to school, kids that are graduating, so all that makes sense. There's a road, Francis, that's right there by the middle school. Is that used the same amount this year as in previous years, or is that something you know?
I think the bigger issue is, and probably your question has more to do with the volume of cars on that road, which is something that I can't control. So I have had a conversation with the town in particular. If you look at Francis and David Roads, there is a two-way stop sign. I have had a conversation with the mayor and the planning council about making that a three-way stop so that it better controls the flow of traffic. And we've talked at great length with our parents about using the bus that we provide to get your child to and from school instead of driving your children to school. I think the volume of parents who drive their kids to school has a much larger impact for us on getting our students in and out of our schools on time. And it's something we continue to stress to our parents. but unfortunately, we can't control who decides to drive or not.
Yeah, you can't tell them not to, I suppose.
Oh, no, we've tried to tell them not to. We strongly encourage you to take advantage of the resource that's provided.
The reason I'm asking is there's a Ruth Street, which as you can see from my sign up, that's the street I'm on. You know, over the past couple of years, the bus traffic was increasing a little bit. Last year, it increased a ton. So like the coming up the road, there was a whole line of buses. This year, they're now going down the road. And that's why I asked about the infrastructure, because the two roads next to it, which is Esther and Charles, were both paved within the past 2 years. Ruth has not been paved in 20-plus years, and since the buses have been on it, the cracks and things like that have really expanded because it's heavy, a lot of heavy equipment going up and down it twice a day. Also, I'm on the corner, so a bush has been driven over, sign has been knocked down, branches off my trees, and it's just the amount, you know, over the past couple of years, it was increasing. You know, it is what it is, kids have to go to school, but this year, the volume is crazy. I mean, I have pictures of it on my phone. There's buses waiting on the floor to turn down Ruth, while you've got at least 16 filling all of Ruth and wrapping around the street at the end. I forget that name. It's a lot for a street that is not equipped to handle traffic like that and that heavy.
Yeah, and unfortunately, they are township public roads, so I can't speak to an engineering standpoint. What I can say to you is, and I hope I'm not speaking out of turn for the town, but that area is in one of the initial phases of natural gas that will be coming into the town. So at some point, those roads are going to end up getting repaved. So if there's any saving grace, Ruth will be repaved within the next couple of years as a result of the natural gas lines that are going to come in as well. But we have to make use of the roads that are available. I don't know who made the decision to. Yeah, but they're all public roads. They're all public roads, and so we're going to try and address the roads that best suit our vehicles. I can't promise you that we'll reroute our buses, but we'll look at it.
That's all I'm asking for, and
Sure.
then just some follow-up on what came of it would be.
Sure.
Thank you.
I have my address there. Do you need any other?
After the meeting, give us your email address. After the meeting, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless you want to give it out to the public
On the internet.
on a live feed.
It's a Gmail, okay.
Okay, and then our next speaker is Thomas Schramm.
Hey, good evening, everybody. I mentioned this about a year ago, and I just want to bring it back up to the board's attention. I just wanted to ask the board to reconsider moving the hearing of citizens portions at the end of the meeting as opposed to the middle. So that way the public can comment on any things that are discussed or are voted on after the public session, because after that, there's no conversation when we speak. So just to ask to reconsider. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and we can close public comment and move on to the rest of the agenda. Can I please have a motion to move the finance, number 11, finance?
I'll move it. Second.
Any discussion on 11A through I?
Aye.
Hearing none, can you call the roll?
Mr. Falcone?
Yes.
Mr. DiStefano is absent. Dr. Capello?
Yes.
Mr. Citrich?
Yes.
Ms. Goulan?
Yes.
Mr. Chaffee?
Yes.
Mr. Francis is absent. Ms. Polachina?
Yes.
And Ms. Falcone Schubert.
Yes. Can I please have a motion to move number 12, personnel, through
17.
17?
I'll move it.
I'll second.
Okay, so now there's discussion on the remainder of the agenda, 12 through 17.
Thank you for removing the dates on the trips.
Oh, good, yeah, that's good. Any questions, discussion? Okay, hearing none, please call the roll.
On 12 through 17, Mr. Falcone?
Yes.
Mr. DeStefano is absent. Dr. Capello?
Yes.
Mr. Citrich?
Yes.
Ms. Goulant?
Yes.
Mr. Chaffee?
Yes.
Mr. Francis is absent. Ms. Polachina?
Yes.
And Ms. Falcone Schubert.
Yes. Okay, number 18 is board member comments. If you'd like to make a comment, please do so. If not, we will skip you and move on. Jim?
Thank you, everyone, for coming tonight. Just wanted to give a shout out to Durban App's first graders. They got the Plant the Promise from the Center for Prevention and Counseling. So congratulations to them and all the staff at Durban App.
Thank you. Great.
My only comment is that I hope everyone exercises their right to vote on next Tuesday.
Yes.
the 5th.
Ditto.
Thank you for coming out. Everybody either received today or will be receiving in the mail in the next couple of days, postcard that looks like this. This contains 100% accurate facts. It also contains the school's website you can go to get more information. If you need more information, there will be a meeting on Wednesday at the high school at 6:30. You can come and ask any questions you have, and please exercise your right to vote.
Thanks, Jen. Okay, that's good.
I'm good. Same.
Okay. All right, not to beat a dead horse, but vote on November 5th. Just a reminder that voting yes for the referendum still means there will be no additional tax increase. Like Mr. Hallenbach said, the tax increase is already in effect. So by voting yes, you are saying, I'd like to pay for 60% of the capital improvement projects over 5 years. By voting no, you are saying, I'd like to pay 100% of the capital improvements over 9 years. I had the pleasure of going to the town council meeting. I don't even know what day it was now. Everything's running together, but I think it was last week. And what I spoke a lot about is our assets. We live in a wonderful town. Our lake is beautiful, okay? It is our asset. The police department, the fire department, the ambulance, all of the vehicles, all of the volunteers, and our schools, okay? Our parks, those are all of our assets, and we need to protect them. So by exercising your right to vote, you are protecting what is yours, which are these buildings that house our students. So please go out on November 5th, speak to your neighbors, vote for what is right, vote based on the facts, and go to our website if you have any questions. We also have videos up there from the town council meeting, so you can listen to the spiel again if you haven't heard it already. Thank you all for everything you're doing. And wait until November 5th. You're welcome.
Good job, Nicole.
Yes, and can I please have a motion to adjourn?
Move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Adjourned.
Thank you all. Thank you for coming out. Have a wonderful evening.
Be careful. Yeah.
It was